My little brother is a big fat liar, and I'm going to expose his stupid lies in front of the whole family. And yes, this story has every single update. If there's one thing I hate, it's a liar. Second to that is a person who does not pay back your money when you need it. Those two things are my brother. If I did not grow up with him, and if I did not adore him as much as one is supposed to their younger siblings, then I would have cut contact with him a long time ago. Because he's the youngest, 26, he acts like it and cannot take responsibility for anything. The latest thing that he has done is the most sickening, in my opinion. It would not hurt to tell the truth, you know? If he really is making that much money, then why can he not pay me back? He gave me no choice. I had to publicly embarrass him. I thought that doing that would help straighten him out, that, well, he could be more honest. Instead, the child decided to have a mental breakdown, and now it's my fault. Why can nobody see how frustrated this child makes me? He has so much potential, but he lies so much. He can also not treat the people who care about him right. Mom and Dad don't see this. Instead, they literally reward him for his behavior. As an older sister, I try to give him tough love, but when I do, I'm not a very good person, apparently. Now, because of what I did, my father will not talk to me. We were supposed to go together on a trip to visit my in-laws in 2 weeks, but it has been canceled. It's very important for me, well, and also for him, to be there. Now I'm going to look like a liar. It all started with the family dinner. Let me explain. We had a weekly family dinner a couple days ago. It was me, my husband, my father, my stepmom, who by the way I just call mom, and a couple of other family members. My brother said that he would not be able to come because he is busy setting up a business deal for his company. Earlier this year, he started a company, and we've not seen him much since then. He does not answer calls or talk to us, and he just claims that he's a busy working person. The only time he finds is just to talk to Mom, because they're very close. His bond with his mom is strange, because she's not even his real mother. Growing up, she's always favored him over me, and she's also let him get away with anything, which made me resentful. I was telling everyone about how I had just gotten my certificate in coding, and soon I would start working. At 33, I'm a stay-at-home mom and have been out of the workforce for too long. Everybody was asking me questions and asking if they could help me, and a couple of family members have their own businesses, and they expressed that they would love for me to help them with their websites. It was during that time that my brother arrived with a guest. It was his new girlfriend, who he did not even tell me about. Luckily, Mom and I made extra food. Mom and I gave each other a look when she sat down. The girl was beautiful, but she was clueless, and I don't say it lightly. She was giggling all the time, even when he said something that was not funny. The conversation about my achievement continued, and I then said to my brother that I would love to help him out with his business. Since I had both a financial background and had recently gotten qualified in coding, I would love to help him out. He said that there was no need. I did not probe further. Later on, his girlfriend mentioned to someone that he had just bought her a Birkin. A Birkin bag! I was like, there's no way. The girl showed me the bag, and just looking at it told me that the bag wasn't real, but I kept my mouth shut. I noticed that my brother was looking to the side and avoiding my gaze. I then asked him where he bought the bag. I've never seen one like it. He said that he was doing so well in his business, so why would he be buying a fake bag? In addition to that, he had not paid me for the storage of his gaming equipment for the past 3 months. I was kind enough to give him the benefit of the doubt, and I figured that he had just started breaking even and did not have disposable income to spare. I was just proud that he had just moved into his own place, so why the hell was he acting like he had money when he didn't? Why was he dating this girl who was clearly high maintenance? She seemed to think that he was a big shot. Something was fishy. It was either he was lying about his money to me or the girl. He looked at me and said, how could I know a real one when I've never owned one? I said that I might not have been able to afford one, but I've seen these bags before. He then told me to work hard and then maybe, one day, I would be able to tell between a real one and a fake one. I laughed and said I could because I was constantly watching and reading magazines about fashion, and he said that being a stay-at-home mother did not mean that I had a degree in fashion. Well, that stung. I was his older sister. I had just made a simple observation about a bag. Did he have to look down on me like that? Well then, I can go much lower. So, I started asking him questions about his business. I know where we were all curious. Nobody wanted to ask him because every time they tried to, he got defensive. So I asked him many questions, and while he answered them, he was very hesitant. He was not so sure about his products and seemed to have no idea about basic business concepts. That was funny because he graduated with a diploma in business. He started to sweat more and more, and he turned even redder. He told me that he did not want to talk about it, but I persisted. I told him that since he was doing so well, we could draft a plan for him to pay me back, and that's when he absolutely lost it. He said that he had been meaning to pay me back. He didn't know that things were so bad for me financially that I would hand him over a measly $200 in front of the family. He said that maybe if my husband just got a better job or started his own business, I would stop being jealous. He felt that there's no need for me to call him out like that in front of his girl. Mom told him to calm down and stop shouting, but he got even more red, and soon he could not form coherent sentences. What was the problem? I just wanted to know more about what my brother was doing. That's when he said that his business was real and he built it from scratch. He did not appreciate me calling him a liar, and Mom told me to please change the topic as I was making him uncomfortable. I agreed, but I guess he was too mad because he got up and grabbed his girlfriend's hand and left. I called after him, but by the time I got to the driveway, he was already driving off. When I got back inside, I got hell from side of my family. They said that he was young and secure about his business and doing his best, and I did not have to make him look like that person. Well, at dinner, my husband had my back and apologized on my behalf, but when we got home, he told me how he really felt. He felt that while my brother had no right to get that low, I emasculated him in front of his girlfriend. Maybe the bag was fake, but hey, he was not making good money yet. Maybe he was too ashamed to say that things were not working out for him, and I had just fed into his insecurities. He reminded me that my brother can be sensitive and does not take things to heart. I've been thinking about it for a couple of days, but I'm struggling to see how it's my fault. He lied to the poor girl about the bag and then called me poor. He also insulted me for being a stay-at-home mother. He looked down at me. Well, I think he had it coming. Update number 1. Wow, what I've just found out blows my mind. Forget about my father not wanting to come on the trip with me. I don't want him there. In fact, I don't want to see any of them. How could they all lie to me like that? How could they do this to me? They say that they all love for their kids, but it's clear that they have a favorite. A couple days after my brother stormed out of the family dinner, my stepmother asked to go for coffee with me. She said that she was really sorry about what happened and how Alan behaved. He had just been under a lot of stress from taking over her family's company. He deflected all of those questions because he did not want me to know that he had inherited her parents' business a year ago. What happened was that a year ago, her mother passed away. My stepmom is an only child and does not have kids of her own, so her mom decided to give the company to one of us. She then said that Dad did not want me to run the company because I've had too much on my hands. So they gave the company to my brother because he has a diploma in business and needed a stepping stone. They also told me that they feared I would fight him for the company if I ever found out. Bold of them to assume that I would have done that. They never even bothered to ask me if I was interested. They just spoon-fed the company to their spoiled son. I told her that they knew this track record, and he was going to run the company into the ground before 5 years were done. She said that he was working really hard to prove himself. She just needed me to support him and say sorry for what I said to him. Why was I the one who had to say sorry when he was the one who disrespected me in the first place? She then said that if I agreed to say sorry, Dad would go on a trip with me. So what I was getting was that my brother was once again going to be rewarded for his bad behavior, and she then said that he was not good, well, because his girlfriend had dumped him because of the fake bag. Well, good riddance. He didn't need a girl who forced him to spend that much money, and she did not need to be lied to. She then snapped and told me to stop being so jealous of my brother. I told her how could I not? They always applauded his achievements and not mine. I was also their daughter, but now they're trying to blackmail me. I told her that I did not need my father to come with me. The only reason I wanted him to come with me was that he has not spent that much time with my in-laws and me. I miss my dad and wanted him just to be there with me for the trip because my husband could not come with me. In addition, he's very good with his grandkids Kiara and Haley. Update 2. I can be petty. Since the cat's been out of the bag, guys, my brother has been the extra petty type towards me. He refuses to acknowledge that I'm even present. We see each other often when we go to the stores, and he'll not even greet me. He has also said nothing about taking his stupid gaming stuff out of our garage. I know what he's doing. He's waiting for me to apologize to him, even though I'm not the one in the wrong. He thinks that I'm a mom or dad, but he is clearly mistaken. Because of that, I've done something to him that'll teach him to have respect for his older sister. Not even his mom will be able to help him out of that. I took pictures of his stuff this afternoon and put it on a marketplace. I've started to get bids for the stuff already. It's all pretty expensive stuff, to be honest, and I'm going to make a good amount of money from this and buy myself a Birkin. Joking, they cost way too much. I'm sure that he can replace that money with the money he's making at his business. The thing is that his head has gotten too big for him, and I need to help him inflate it. Also, after what I found out from his ex, I think that the boy needs a lesson in manners. Mom and Dad never taught him about manners, but I know that I can. Early on, I bumped into his ex, who he suddenly broke up with last year. We've strangely not heard anything from her within the past year, and I thought that maybe she moved. We decided to grab a bite at his new Korean restaurant I've been meaning to visit. Bussines is a very nice girl, the nicest girl that he's ever dated. She actually made him a better person, and we all thought that they were going to get married. Alas, that was not the case for them. She told me that my brother broke her heart. She says that he sent her a text while she was at work to tell her that we were over, and he was now out of her league. At the time, he was staying with her, and she was paying for everything. He kept on flaking out on jobs, and when he did have money, he spent it on building his gaming console. Then, out of nowhere, he was done with her. She said that he then blocked her and told her not to contact his family. She also said that he owed her a lot of money, and she lent him money over the years when he was short. But sweet Bernice loved him so much that she was willing to forgive him even though he never paid her money back. That could never be me, was my reaction. She then told me that after that, she saw him with other girls who were prettier. He spent money on them but did not spend money on her. What a jerk! So he was willing to dump a girl who had been good to him when he had nothing for other girls just because he had money. She told me that she had grown to resent him over the years. She thought that we knew what happened between them, but we did not. He just told us that they had a fight and he did not want us to reach out to her because she was very angry and aggressive. When I tried to get to talk, he would start crying and telling me that he's thinking about it, it's just hurting him. So, turns out those were crocodile tears. He was just too much of a coward to tell the truth about what he did to that poor girl. That's when I got the idea to teach him a lesson. He has developed quite the ego now that he's making money. He thinks that he can treat anybody the way that he wants and get away with it. Well, then maybe Bernice and I deserve to get what is financially ours. I told his husband what he did to Bernice, and he was horrified. He did not argue with me when I told him that I was going to sell the stuff. I'm justified in doing so because he's not paid for the storage even though he has money. By doing that and ignoring me, he's being very, very disrespectful, and there's no way that I'm going to let him disrespect me like that. He's going to learn a very difficult life lesson about respect from me, because clearly our parents failed to teach him that at home. I'm at a loss for words right now, guys. Many years ago, when my husband was still new in the family, he thought it was weird that my stepmother was so close to my brother. After all, my brother is adopted. He's not even related to my father. Dad adopted him years after my stepmother involved in with us. Well, my dad had decided that he was not going to have any more kids after Mom died. My stepmother still wanted kids, so she got us to adopt Alan. And well, Alan knows that he's adopted, but we don't make a point to talk about it. He's my brother, not my adopted brother. My husband once mentioned to me that he found it strange that Alan and my stepmother were so close. At the time, Alan was in college and he was about to graduate, but he did not want anyone who was not my stepmom to come to the graduation. When my husband said it, I was horrified and told him to stop being weird. I didn't want to think of something so bizarre. Well, years later, his words are coming back to me, and after she had just saved him yet again, I put everything up for sale and was getting offers from the staff and organized to meet up with the buyers. This is until we got a bigger offer from a young man. He said he would be willing to pay 10% more than the initial price of the setup. I thought it had to be a prank. Nobody could buy it for that much. However, a small part of me, told me to go see it. Maybe we were about to make the deal of a lifetime. I sent my husband to complete the deal while I stayed home with the kids. They were a bit irritable that day because they missed their grandparents since we had just gotten back from seeing them. Jacob came back not so long after with the money and a spooked expression on his face. He said that the good news, he had sold the gaming setup. The bad news, was that it was to my stepmother and brother. He might as well have said that my stepmother was the one who bought it. It was just like her to save him when he needed to be taught a lesson. I didn't get why it always just had to be like this. Why did she always favor him over me? She knew that he had a debt for storage but did not pay me then. Instead, she waited till I was selling everything off before she catfished me and bought it all off of him. I was so mad at Jacob for selling the setup to them. He, on the other hand, thought that it was no big deal because at least now it's out of our hands. In addition, Bernice would get her money back. Right, Bernice. I had the perfect way to show her that her son was not as innocent as she made him appear to be. There was something that he had done which she would never forgive, so I called her and asked if we could talk about my brother. I said that I felt there have been a lot of misunderstandings between us siblings, and I really wanted to fix them. Well, that did the trick. She invited me to come and see her the next day. It would only be me and her, just like last time. What she did not know was that I had a special guest who wanted to say something about her son and tell her that, he did not deserve to be bailed out like this. Bernice was more than happy to get her money back and get a chance to tell her the truth about Alan. The next evening, I showed up at her house with Bernice, and before she could say anything, I told her that this was very important and she better heed what Bernice had to tell her. She agreed for me and Bernice to sit down and tell her everything that had happened between the two of them. She remained stone-faced. She then said that she could not get involved in their relationship. Bernice narrowed her eyes and said defeatedly, "Your relationship is weird, to the point of it being something more. I've always asked him if there was something going on, but he thought I was crazy. Is that why you lied for him when he did not graduate?" Wait, what? Bernice continued to tell me that my brother did not graduate those years ago, and that that's why he only called his mom to fetch him from school. He flunked out and did not have enough credits to graduate. You would think that she would not trust him with her family business after knowing that, and she started to cry and she said that Bernice had to leave. Bernice, who was also upset, left, but not before telling her that she was making a big mistake by protecting Alan all the time. Would she protect him if he committed a crime, or has she? The question was out of my mouth before I could even stop it. She then laughed bitterly and asked if I did not have enough already. I had my husband, a family, and my father's money when I passed. Well, she wanted to leave him with something that he could call his own because he had nothing. I was shocked that she would play this adoption card once again, and I was getting sick and tired of it. I then asked if Bernice was right, if there was something untoward going towards between her and my brother. I did not see that slap coming. She was so quick. One minute I was thinking of the next thing to say just to hurt her a bit more, and the next she had my cheeks stinging red. She then screamed that she would never do that to the son that she gave birth to. Well, I felt myself drop down onto the chair I've been sitting on for the past few minutes. I felt the words swim around and around in my head, but they did not make sense, and then I threw up. Everything after that was a blur. She tried to stop me from leaving, but I got up and started to walk. It's been hours now, and I have not said a word to, anybody. I'm writing this right now, and then I'll tell my husband when he comes back from his game night with his friends. Luckily, the babysitter had already put the kids to bed by the time I got back home. Well, I'm sure that this was all a dream. Let me blink and come out of it like I usually do. Nope, still here. Update number 3. Hey guys, what's up? Long time no speak. I was grappling with a moral dilemma. Not long after I found out, my husband tried to support me, but even he did not know what to do. In addition to that, she kept on calling me and asking to see me, and I did not want to talk to her. I was not even sure that I could keep my emotions in check. So many things I have not noticed over the years made so much sense now, yet I had so many questions. One of them being how I could tell my father. She beat me to it. Maybe it was the guilt of what she's done 27 years ago that was now eating her up, but she had confessed what she did to my father now that the floodgates were opened. I figured that she wanted him to know before I got to him first. Selfish, to the end. I can't believe that I used to actually consider her to be kind. My father called me to his office not long afterward to tell me that he knew, and to fill me in on the rest of the story. On my way into the office, I bumped into my brother. His eyes were empty, and he looked just how I might have looked when I found out what she did. The truth is that my father cannot have any more kids. After my mom died, he got his vasectomy and would not reverse it. When he started dating my stepmother, he had no idea that she was seeing another man, who happened to be a good friend of his, and she soon fell pregnant, but could not bring herself to terminate. She was also very much in love with my father and did not want to lose him. The friend wanted nothing to do with Alan, so she kept him. When she started showing signs of the pregnancy, she made up an excuse about a sick cousin who was gone for months. Her relationship with my father grew even stronger during those months, and as soon as she was back, they married. She left Alan with her parents, but still felt that she needed her son close by. So she argued with my father about adoption for months before getting, the final go for Alan. Years went by, and nobody suspected it, not even Alan. However, when her parents passed and left the company to Alan, she had to make my dad believe it's because he was good at business, had more time, and was younger. My dad wanted me to run the company instead. After all, I was also her daughter. She succeeded in getting what she wanted, even though she knew that he was not going to be good at it. After all, she was already keeping the secret that he did not even graduate college. She wanted this to be the perfect, front for him, so that he would not be a failure in life, and it saddened her how everything he did fell apart. She was so guilty about him, and also tired of him asking about his parents. When I came to visit her and confronted her, she got so emotional and overwhelmed that she felt the need for me to know the truth. In fact, she thought of telling everybody in the world that Alan was her son, and that he was just doing his best. She felt so guilty that he would never know that his real mom was with him. She feared that soon the truth would come out and my father would cut Alan off. So she made sure that he at least had company. She said that she was trying her hardest to help him run it and make it successful. He was so proud of himself and the money that he was making. Funny, she would say that when he has become obnoxious since he claims he started that company from scratch. He's even lost the love of his life because of it. If anything, her actions hurt everybody. My dad has asked for space as he deals with this, and I think we all need space so that we can process this as well. Update number 4. Final update. For the past few months, I've been consumed by guilt as I've watched my family fall apart. We used to be a strong unit in the past, but have been drifting apart for years. This bombshell has brought us further apart, and we're all islands. My father and the only mom I've ever known have decided to separate. She and I never talked, and it was a relief when she left town. Before she left town, Alan made a scene at the company event and revealed her secret. He also told her that he hates how she can just, has made him into someone that he does not know by giving him company that he doesn't deserve. He never wanted to do this. He just wanted to make her happy so he could feel like a real son of the family. He told her he was quitting and was going back to college to study what he really wanted to do, which is radiology. He was gone for a while, but then reached out to me online to apologize for how he treated me. The guilt that consumed me when I realized how hard this was for Alan has not gone away. We talk every day, but I don't know if we will ever be the same. My father, on the other hand, has kept working. He always tells me he's busy when I call, so I don't call. This is what happens when you lie and keep secrets. They fester like termites in a wooden house, slowly killing it over the years, and if you leave it too long, you'll find that nothing is left.
Wow, that was an insane story. I honestly did not see it taking that turn. I was reading through some of the comments, and a lot of people were mentioning how they actually hated Alan at the beginning of the story, but as the story progressed, it seemed like a lot of people were starting to feel more and more sorry for Alan once they were finding out why he was actually acting the way he was. But I do want to know your opinion on that, so drop it downstairs in our comment section. My name's Mr. Reddito, and I narrate these sort of stories every single day. Different type of stories, inheritance dramas, wedding fiascos, mother-in-law, all sorts of problems with those. Let me know your thoughts if you guys what stories you want. Mother-in-law stories, do you prefer inheritance dramas? Just let me know your thoughts down below. And if you guys do want daily videos, the best way to get that is by subscribing. I'll see you guys tomorrow, and remember, it's cool to be kind. Peace.